Did you know that 90% of the world's millionaires invest in real estate? Well, I'm Angel with the Academy Presents Real Estate Investing Rocks, and I'm here to help you if you want to go for your piece of that pie. My whole thoughts for doing this was because for the last at least 2 weeks, probably 3, I feel like I've just been floating. Like, I'm not getting anything done. I don't even know what day it is. And it's exhausting. And so what I did was I started reaching out to y'all and looking for someone that could give me some guidance, because there are people out there being productive right now. I just wasn't one of them. And so, like, after talking to after talking to a few of y'all, I realized that part of it was because I wasn't making a lot of decisions the evening before for the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, once I started doing that, like, Wednesday was amazing, but it took so much effort to be productive that Thursday I was just dead. And that was that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put makeup on, I'm gonna fix my hair. And I kind of took care of a few things that afternoon, but I think that there has to be some tricks out there that I am missing. And I know, Sandhya, you were like, these are crazy times, give yourself grace. But there are so many people who are still out there killing it right now.
Yes. And that's okay, because you have to follow your pace and your path and when it makes sense. And you're going to have the super productive day when everyone else is just like hanging out and goofing off. So it's give yourself some grace, because these times are different. But at the same time, set some things in your path so that it'll force you to have a sense of productivity. And one thing I do is I set up appointments. So let's say next Tuesday is completely blank on my calendar. I'm going to fix about 2 or 3 appointments just to force me to have a sense of purpose and a focus. So for example, I'll at least do a Calendly and try to talk to 2 people I haven't talked to in a while. So at a minimum, I'll try to do that. Okay, that's a very simple thing I would do. Another thing I would do is I have some fitness friends, kind of the pilly kind of people who are just gung-ho and who will be fit no matter what and exercise. So I'll try to say, okay, can we sign up for a 30-minute session with you? You know, I have one friend who's all about yoga, another one who lifts weights, etc. I'll say, I need 30 minutes of your time on this particular day, whichever day that is. So that again gets me focused on something that is my weakness, you know? So I try to do that. My kids, of course, always give me focus because they are still online schooling. So it kind of gets me a feel for a weekday versus a weekend, right? So I do have a sense of today's Tuesday or today's Friday. And so this stuff is due on this day. So I kind of have that to keep me focused. And then I have my weekly calls, right? I have certain routine weekly calls I attend no matter what. A lot of them tend to be in the evenings. These evening webinars are getting increasingly popular. So my weeknights are totally booked. But then even on weekdays, we have our weekly property management calls. This is a very busy day, and Monday too, because of rent being due, etc. So when you have things already set up, just like you would when things were running normally 3 months ago, this is a weekday, this is what I do. You kind of try to put those things into your calendar anyway, even if they're virtual, and that'll give you a sense of focus. But please, the others chime in.
Well, I mean, that was one of the things I did was I just said, you know, I've got to give my day some structure. And so I started signing up for webinars. And that got me into a position where I was like, oh, well, this time is blocked out. This time is blocked out. I still need to take care of this and this. Where am I going to fit it in?
In between the two. In between the webinars. So don't sign up for so many that you don't have time for yourself, and kind of do it to where, okay, last week I attended a webinar on this topic. I don't need to do the same topic again this week, but this one is really new and I want to see what this person has to say, or I need to watch the recording while I'm doing something else, which is whether it's a workout or whether it's catching up on something else.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So like some of the, I guess, commonalities between the people that I contacted are, y'all seem really well put together. Like as far as like with what you're accomplishing. You can shake your heads no. I'm as a very unorganized, unproductive person. I sit back and I'm like, oh.
Okay, so like I'm gonna jump in. So the only reason why I am slightly put together is because I live my life by a schedule. I have to. I am so like in real life, in my head, I am so daydreamy. I have so many ideas. I have so many things that I want to do. But as soon as I had kids, I was like, wow. Like all of a sudden, I couldn't. Like I remember after my first was born, I was just like, I don't know how to do all the things and get all the things done and do it all. And somebody introduced me to scheduling and time blocking. And for everyone that's listening to this, read the 12-Week Year by Brian Moran. Read The One Thing by Gary Keller. Yes. I'm sure you're you're bringing up all the. I think I have The One Thing here.
I don't have The One Thing, but I probably
One
have
Thing
some of the other ones.
By Gary Keller.
One
Thing by Gary Keller. And I'm reading. Why am I blanking on this book? Because I'm reading it right now. Oh my goodness, my head. But those are the two books that I basically live my life by. But the thing is, have the schedule in place. Put all the things down. Time block everything, to family time, to when you're homeschooling, to all the hours. And then make sure you read it at night and then look at it again in the morning. And then have it posted someplace where you can look at it. But unless it's something like a Zoom call, or like, for instance, this, if, for instance, you don't get to all of your child's lessons that day, or you need to cancel on karate, or you need to cancel a Zoom call, you give yourself grace. Or if you completely forget, it's like written down, and I know you ladies do this who schedule. You completely forget to go on that Zoom call, or you forget to do something. Give yourself grace. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world if you don't get to everything you put your mind to. Can I share something? Can I screen share something?
Absolutely.
Here is my school day for the kids. If you look at this, I have a ton of stuff on here. I will give you the link to this. Anybody is welcome to take a look at this, copy it. I've become like homeschool teacher of the year, mama of the year. I love it. I know a lot of mamas out there are like probably like jaw dropping right now, like what? But I actually love homeschooling my kids. Yes, I would love it if we could have like trips to gymnastics or soccer or baseball or all these things that we could do, or even having like a couple of hours just so I can do things without the kids, but that's not life right now. So that's not something I can change. I can control how I live my day. So this is how I have it set up with the kids. So the next thing I'm going to share with you is my 12-year, this is basically my blank scorecard. Don't pay attention to anything that's here, because this is not how I live my life right now. But the one I do have, the one that's actually filled out, I have all my goals down. I have the actionable steps that'll take me to those goals. And all of this stuff, all the stuff you see week 1, week 2, week 3, you mark it off as it gets done, and it's quantifiable by the end of the quarter. So you can see if you didn't get to your goal, chances are, and this has happened to me before, it's because you're like 50% here, 70% here. Those things that I did my actionable steps every day, and I was 90% and above, I reached that goal. So those are just 2 things that I use to live my life. I'm going to reiterate though, I'm not a scheduling person. I never used to be. I had to become one when I had children.
How old are your kids?
5, 3, and 1.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So had to schedule.
So did you make that scorecard, or did you get it from somewhere?
So I'm going to give the credit to Steven Pesavento. He was a friend of mine. We were part of the 7-Figure Flipping crew back in the day. He's still part of the group. I am no longer flipping home, so I couldn't be really a part of 7-Figure Flipping. But I'm like such great friends with all of them. So one of the leaders of that group, Becca Shea, got us together into an accountability group. So Stephen put this together, and I just made it better.
That's awesome.
No new ideas. You copy from everybody, but then you put your own spin on it. So I'm gonna make this link available copy it, just make a copy of it. You're not gonna be able to edit what I have, but you can make a copy of it in Google, use it yourself, copy it as much as you want, take credit for it. As long as it helps you, I'm good.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, because even if you don't make it to 100%, you don't, clear the goal, to be able to look back and say, well, it's not like I was 0% there.
Mm-hmm. And now you know why you didn't make it to the goal, or better yet, you know why you did, because you put in all the work. And there's something to be said, like, to have that, like, that kind of like, yay, look at what I did. I got 100%, or I got like 80%. I don't think I ever got 100% week, but I got up to 80%, or I got 70%, or this wasn't the best week, I got 42. It's always good. And we all live our life by the numbers if we do real estate. So why don't we live our lives by the numbers when it comes to our own lives? Because we run our businesses by numbers. So, and we have businesses that are doing really well. So transpose that into your life, and ta-da! Again, I'm not a numbers person. I don't really like following this. I actually don't like it, but I've made myself enjoy seeing the process and enjoy the process of all of this, because it's helped tremendously. I don't know what, I'd be a mess without this stuff.
Yeah, well, that's been one of the hard things for me, is like when I resigned, I lost that structure. And so creating a structure has been really difficult. And I realized that like I can do an entire day's of work in the afternoon in a couple of hours if I just do it. Mm-hmm. And so then I really don't want to set a schedule. And I find myself, and especially during all this COVID stuff, it was like I found myself sleeping later. There was a point in time where Jason was like, please don't sleep all day. Can you try not to sleep all day? Because I was just so down, and I just wanted to sleep all day. And so I was drinking more, I was sleeping more, I was sleeping late, and I just watched everything just spiral away from me. So that's kind of what led to this, because I know I'm not the only one out there going through this, and I never want someone to feel alone. Mm-mm. So that's why I tend to live kind of like as an open book, just because I never want someone to feel like they're going through something all alone, because I feel like that's one of the things that causes such a high suicide rate. Yeah. Is people feel that they're all alone. And if people would be more open about just all the crap they're going through, other people could grasp a hold of that and be like, man, I'm not alone. And
you just made a ton of women and men and everybody feel so much better about themselves right now, because they need to know that they're not alone. If anybody follows me here, I quit drinking. Not that I was like drunk every night. I had 3 children and consecutively in 6 years, and I hadn't had like regular drinks since like 2014. And I started drinking regularly. I had a glass of wine or a half glass of wine at the end of the night for the past like almost 2 months. And I started craving it. Like it'd be like 2 o'clock. I'd be like, can I have my glass right now? Can I? No. Okay. Is that bad? So I had to stop. About a week ago, I stopped, because I was just like, I just can't. And I'm a former bartender. So I was like, nope, no more. Can't do it.
Well, honestly, reading that post of yours where you said, I had to quit because I was using it as a crutch, I was like, holy crap. And so I didn't drink Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday this week, because I was like, I'm using this as a crutch. I've got to stop. And it made it easier to get up in the morning and take care of breakfast for the kids. And the slow cooker is like the most amazing invention ever. This is my second time to use it for like a real meal. I've always had one. It's always sat in the cabinet and under the table. But I've actually like really started using it and like loving it. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't want this to turn into some like girl show, but it was like, that was a big deal to me to be able to say, I've already got supper done. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
It's huge.
So, that kind of takes me, one of the things that Sandra was saying, because I took notes on everything she sent me, was she was like, you have to at least take care of the little things, because it was that, the picture she posted. Do you know which one I'm talking about? Where she said, nothing is so fatiguing as the eternal hanging on of an incomplete task.
Yes.
I call
So
that the endless loop. It's like it keeps going back and forth in your head and you can't close it. I call it closing the loops. I'm sure I got it from some book a long time ago, but I agree, the endless task. Got to close those loops.
I like that though, closing the loop. I'm like taking notes here. Y'all are like helping me.
All right, so I'm going to give my little sesh. So I write everything down, and I know in this day and age, everybody is all electronic, and the apps that we have to organize our lives are amazing and wonderful. I use Trello, I use calendars, I use a ton of the electronic stuff, but I'm still old school in that I like writing everything down. And I'm a big planner. I like to go back and plan all the way back and then break it down like more actionable items. I don't know. I have to same thing with her. Like I've got 2 little kids, but they're kind of in between. Like hers are 5, 3, and 1, and mine are 2 and 3, almost 4.
Play dates.
So my life, my life has like, I do a lot of compartmentalization. Like my life has big compartments, and each one is very important. Me as a mom is really number 1, and so I've got my babies, and I've got to take care of them. You know, they outgrow clothes every other month, and I always get them new shoes. There's always diapers and all of that. And then basically running a house is like kind of like running a little business on its own, the inventory and everything. And then I've got my own business, and within my business, I have compartments or maybe departments, like you might call it departments. But for me, my business and my home overlap so much that I just basically treat them the same. You know, it's like my rentals, my flips, my health, my home, and they're all compartments, and they all have a to-do list with their own prioritizations inside of it. And I have to balance all of that with my 24 hours a day. We all have 24 hours. That's it. How do you balance that while getting enough sleep, bathing, taking care of everything else that you need to take care of just as a person, anything that you want to do for yourself? Then you have all of these kids and pets and, partners to take care of. So for me, my attention is constant. I live in chaos, like just straight chaos all the time. Totally cool with it. I mean, A-okay with it because I'm so used to it. I mean, the only reason we don't have screaming right now is because they're at daycare, and I planned that. I planned to take this call and leave them in daycare an hour extra than I normally would, or else it would be chaos. But for me, it's really easy to be defeated whenever things are abnormal. You're not like, whenever things aren't going perfectly, it's easy for the motivation to get lost. That's what I'm trying to say. And so sometimes we wait for like the weather to be nice to go for a run, or for the motivation to be there to get something done, or I'll do the dishes whenever this goes in play. You don't have to feel a certain way to do something. That's where the plan comes into play for me, is I write it down, and it doesn't matter how I feel. It's there, it's written down, and I'm going to do it rain or shine, no matter what my motivation level is or who's screaming or anything. I just have to constantly redirect my focus back to whatever's on my plan.
One thing I do when I'm really down, there are some days when my task list is long, but it's a COVID day and I had depressing news for whatever reason, and it just got me down, and I just couldn't get myself out of that mode to be productive. So I ended up doing the phone a friend. I actually phoned 2 different friends and said, I actually need to speak to you, not actually text you, but actually have a conversation, maybe even FaceTime you. And I need to get out of this, little Debbie Downer kind of mood I'm in. So please, I need this. And I sent it first as a text, but I did that to 2 different friends, and they really helped me through it. They're like, you always pull us up. You're always so positive and lifting. So what's getting you down? Again, we're going to give you back the same lesson you gave us, which is worry about the things you can control. You cannot control when things are going to open back up, or if things would ever be the way they used to be. But there are a million things you can still do while you're in your COVID mode. So, if the weather is great, go enjoy the outdoors, enjoy nature, see if that helps you get a perspective on life. Or, even watch something about the ocean or some beautiful scenery, or go back and look at your old vacation pictures and remember that that's still out there. Something to cheer you up, lift you up. Maybe that's good music, whatever that might be. and give yourself 30 minutes or so to be down, but that's it. At the end of that 30 minutes, I'm going to go do something specific. And then I had that friend be my accountability partner. So she checked on me a few hours later, said, did you get this done that you said you would do? So that really helped me. So phone a friend is something you could use, especially in this COVID time. And if you don't have a friend, you know, post it somewhere, send me a message. I'll be your accountability partner for a day or two if that helps you out, you know. Sometimes we need help and we need other people to help us, and that's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say, today I'm not as productive or as capable as I normally am, so I need someone to lift me up, and it's okay to ask for help.